Damn wit. That's the thing we're going to do. We're just going to do the damn thing until we get the thing done. Hell yeah.
Hit the chill back and you stand up, stand up. Start to move your body with your hands up, hands up. Rock it to and fro while they coming through the door. Now they leaning on the bar with the cans up, cans up. Hit the flow fast and you back up, back up. DJ got it lit, turn the track up, track up. Moving side to side, feel the rhythm start to ride. Now they stepping to the beat, never slack. Just how low can you go? Can you go? Can you drop it right down to the floor? To the floor. With a body like a demon, make the men start screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know. Ooh, how far down can you go? Can you go? Can you lay it right down on the floor? On the floor. With the body like a demon and the men still screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know. Let them know, let them know, let them know, let them know. Lights turn low when they line up, line up. Shorty got the vibe, time to wind up, wind up. Everybody moving when the bass line hit, and the whole damn place gonna bind up, bind up. Bass hit hard and they jump up, jump up. Hands in the air, let it pump up, pump up. Moving left and right when the hook come tight. Everybody in the house shit. Just how low can you go? Can you go? Can you drop it right down to the floor? To the floor. With a body like a demon, make the man start screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know. Ooh, how far down can you go? Can you go? Can you lay it right down on the floor? On the floor. With the body like a demon and the man still screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know. Let them know. Let them know.
What's up, guys? We are on the air. WKRP in Cincinnati with the hot summer weather for you tonight. It's going to be a beautiful summer night with all the lovely ladies out there on the street. Let's see what's going on in the chat. So we got Bobby B. I want y'all to know G-Body Spanky Reloaded was the first one in the chat tonight. Bobby was in second place. Let it be known that he did not make the first place move in this one. I'm actually kind of impressed. W says, good day, W. Joe Berserker said, here to listen and learn, perhaps. My friend, that right there is a good open good open attitude. And I'm down with that. That's good stuff. Jason said, how's everyone tonight? Winston and Jason's in the house. White Rambo's in the house. Franco Quade's in the house. Dub Team and Dub Team. Wait a minute. Hold on. There's two. I'm tripping. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm losing my damn mind here. Now, wait a minute. Y'all are messing with my brain. Okay, hold on. What am I looking at? No. What the hell? I do believe I have one of them moments. It's probably something left over from one of those brownies I ate a long time ago. Yeah. See, there's that one. Okay, no. Okay, I'm confused. But that's okay. We'll move past that. You guys just work with me. I'm an old man. My brain cells have been around for a long time. Let's see. Boonie hats rule, right? Rambo said, hell yeah, man. Turtle 97, let's go. That's my boys and some demos. Oh yeah. Cool beans, brother. Well, that's how we roll. We get it done. We make the hair fly. And scare children. Actually, children get a kick out of the bass. It's kind of funny. I've yet to have one freak out. This one kid, one of our locals kids that shows up most of the shows, not at the necessarily at the meet and greet, but at the shows. His kid, I call him Iron Man. I don't care what kind of demo you drop on that kid, he'll sit there and be just as locked in and like iron face, stone faced. He and then so he got him in one of my buddy's demos, and his stuff, well, his stuff plays at like a 58, a 59. He's got a sixth order with 6 big 15s in it. It gets down, right? So he gives the kid a demo and asks him what he thinks, and the kid's like, "It's all right." Man, he has murdered that kid. I don't think there's a demo out there that can make him flinch. It's funny. Shit, I got off track here, so let's go. Yeah, that's it. Some of my boys in those demos. What y'all BassHead? Wait, yeah, what Ricky exclusive bullies? What's up, man? What yo BassHead? Yes, sir. I wish I was there. I would enter in your show with my 218-inch depth on 2.8Ks. Well, that's it, man. I bet that's like a slam. That sounds like a nice setup. 16,000 watts on 2 subs is going to get busy. That's almost exactly what my buddy's running. I was talking to him earlier, and he had some crazy numbers. So he's running a 15K, a tar amps 50K, and a whole bunch of tar amps, mids and highs amps, and he was pulling like 3,000 plus amps on this setup. 3,000 plus amps. We did the math on it. He's like 55% efficient with that setup. It's like, holy mackerel, dude. I don't even know how to, I mean, like he's running all class D stuff too, but it's all tar amps. And tar amps are just incredibly inefficient. I think the only amp out there that's got a worse efficiency rating is the Scar amps. Scar amps are absolutely horribly inefficient. They're not bad. You get bass for relatively low money, but my God, you're going to spend all that money just trying to build up a battery bank and alternators to carry that damn amp because they're like 50% or less efficient. They're horrible, absolutely atrocious. Let's see here, but I don't know what he's running. 218s on 2.8Ks. I don't know what kind of amps he's running, but anyway, that 3,000 amps is huge. So the question is, what do you do? Do you attack the inefficiency, which means basically replacing, because he's keeping it all the same. He likes the brand names to match up and stuff. It's a pretty build too. It's a nice layout. So do you replace all the amps or do you get more batteries and, and which direction do you go? It sounds great. The sucker hits hard. It's doing like a 58 on 218s, literally. He's doing 58, solid 58s on 218s. I mean, and they slam. The lows, it delivers in every department. It just sucks a lot of juice. Let's see here. Rob Richards, what's up, Mr. 155 plus club member? Yeah, baby. I'm getting ready to put a stripper pole in. I got to figure out exactly how I'm doing it yet. I ain't quite decided on that. I was thinking about doing a wooden pole, but then I was like, I know it'd be strong and everything, but it would start to vibrate, and it wouldn't be able to keep the thing from vibrating. It would just get murdered. So I'm gonna have to do a steel pole, but I got to find something to work with because I'm no welder, nor do I have the equipment to weld. Although I can weld, but I don't have the equipment to weld. I can booger weld. So yeah, my pole needs to be like 48 inches long, and everybody's pole needs to be 40. Sorry, man. I'm just, everybody's like, yeah, my pole needs to be 48 inches long too. What are you going to do? Shish kebab? Well, come on, man. I've had a hell of a day. I've been messing with my wife all day, poking fun at her and trying to get her to laugh. And I succeed mostly, but she says I'm an idiot, which is okay because I am. But anyway, I got to get a 48-inch pole. It's really stiff, and put it in my Tahoe. So, oh, my buddy Chris, you guys saw him in one of the last videos. He's a young kind of fit guy. He's nearly 40, but he's young to me. Anyway, he butt dialed me on Messenger. So he added me to a group, a butt dial messenger group thing. So I answered the call and I can hear him and a whole bunch of dudes and they're all like yakking and talking and shit. And I'm sitting there going, Chris, Christopher, Christopher, you want some ice cream? And every once in a while I'd hear them all get quiet and they were trying to figure out where that noise is coming from. And I was having so much fun screwing with them. This is right before the live show. So yeah, I had to hang up on them to do the show. They never did figure it out. I'm going to tell him later though. I'll be like, you remember that ghost that was talking to you? Dude, it is what it is. All the Jasons in the house, baby. That reminds me, I got a video on that I'm doing on Jason Voorhees. It's a song on Jason Voorhees, bass song. Rick Ross. Oh, I got you. Ah. What's up, Rick Ross? I will forget to call you that, but yeah, I got you. I will definitely forget that. White Rambo said, my little homie Broadman loves some good bass. Oh man, yeah, most kids do. They get a kick out. Babies love bass. You get a crying baby and put them in a bass car, they'll go right to sleep. They'll sleep, sleep, and sleep. It's better than sucking on a lemon, dude. You can change your username on YouTube. Oh, okay, that's cool. They added that to Facebook, so I guess YouTube just picked up on this shit. Ricky Exclusive Bully said, yes, sir, I got them 2 Slapz Audio 8Ks. Going crazy. That makes sense. That's right. Let's see. I got the 8Ks and 2 8Ks Defons amps as well. Just trying different setup Slapz. Yeah. And you ain't going to fault them Slapz amps, dude. You ain't going to fault them. You can stack them against any other 8K out there. 100%. They're going to keep up or even beat them. That's just the truth. And I know because I personally had them on the BassHead Garage watt meter. And they do well over their power. They do well over their power rating in across the spectrum. Whenever the ohm load rises and all that, they still, at like 3.4 ohms, I believe it was, I was doing 4,900 watts, which is like, it's like 700 or 800 watts over rating or some shit. I forgot what it was exactly, but I have a video up of me doing it. They do above their power rating significantly all the way through the ohm loads. They're great amplifiers. 2 Defons amps. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. Y'all are talking back and forth. Get some slaps in your life. I bet that's what she said. You guys, put a shower curtain pole. All right, yeah, right. That would actually probably fit, but it's not nearly stiff enough. So most of the panels in my vehicle, when they vibrate, they're creating about a ton, about 2,000 pounds of pressure, positive and negative. So whatever I put there has to be able to resist any movement whenever it's getting hammered and pushed and pulled with 2,000 pounds of force. It's got to be free. You're going to be no shower curtain. That's the problem. So yeah, it takes a pretty serious pull to resist that kind of movement. Broomstick. Yep. W said a broomstick. I was at my thoughts were on like a 3 or a 3.5 inch maple dowel rod, which would work, but it would have a resonance. It would start to resonate, and it would probably resonate with the roof, and so it's just better to go ahead and get something that's not going to resonate. Like a piece of iron pipe or something that's got some really, really good, has a really, really high shear resistance. Metal's already going to have a high compressive and what's the other one? Is compressive and this one where you pull it apart. Anyway, strength. But something like iron has a really high shear strength, so it's not going to want to do this. It needs to have strength in all directions. It ain't got to be malleable. It needs to be really, really stiff. And so iron is a really good choice. Have you ever seen a bent frying pan, like an iron skillet? No, you don't see bent iron skillets. It's either whole or it's broke, which is what I need. Uh, Greens and beans. Ricky said, I seen them 8Ks in your video. I said, when he add the second amp, then 15 is going to go crazy. Yeah, dude, they went crazy, but not only did they go crazy, when I added the second amp, I actually doubled the ohm load. So I went from a 1 ohm on 1 amp to 2 ohms on 2 amps. So technically, I should have had the same exact amount of power by the numbers. But since the Slapz amps actually make more power than they're rated, when I cut the power in half on each amp and added them together, the halves were bigger than half. And so I ended up with more power than I should have had. Now, when I went to the new Slapz version 2s, I've got a 1 ohm rating on a 1 ohm load on both amps now. So I essentially doubled the power that I had before. So I have even more efficient subs, stronger subs, and significantly more power. And we're all over a 156. I'm not there yet, but I know I can get there without much trouble. I've got the amps dialed back into a really, really soft spot where they're not going to really take any torture on the subs. But I have about 3/4. I have about a quarter left that I can crank it up and get more out of it. It'll get dirty pretty quick though. And I don't like running dirty, especially just demoing and stuff. I run clean for demos. I'll run a little dirty on the meter sometimes just to get a little extra kick. Let's see here. Ricky said, I've got 2 alternators, lithium bank. So they're giving them all the power. My 18's 4,500 watts RMS. Yeah, baby. That sounds good. That's a nice setup. Did you say what kind of 18s you had? Oh, they were Duck Bonds. Okay. I was thinking for some reason at that point you might have had the Trinity Type 8, Trinity H's or something. Those are some nice freaking subs. The H series 18s from Trinity. Those are some nice subs. Mine is built like, here's my Tahoe, but I kept my back seats. I got you. So you got like a C-pillar wall, I guess. Are you going to reinforce my Red Pill? So are you going to reinforce your roof with wood? I've got about 1.5 inch stack of glued laminated plywood up in the sunroof area. And then that is completely filled in with expandifoam all around it, between the sunroof and the wood and around the wood. And then I have a 3/4 inch sheet that goes all the way across the roof, glued to the roof and to that stack. And so that's what we got. And then, of course, I got the fur on top of that, the short nap fur up there. So, yeah, it's reinforced. What I'm going to do, if you consider where the windshield is over here, and you know, you got your windshield, you got your dome light, you got your sun visors. Well, back just a little bit further, that's where I want to put my brace, you know. So it's going to come up at like not a 45 degree, but more like this angle from the bottom of my wall, right, just almost going to hit my console. My console lid will still open, but it's almost going to hit the console, and then it's going to go up to the roof. Kind of a little bit forward of the center of the roof, if you want to figure it that way. That's what I got planned, but I'm still ironing things out. Yeah, those will work. Panhard bar kit. Yeah, like a big turnbuckle kind of thing. That's what I'm kind of thinking about. I've seen turnbuckles that were set up to tighten cables with, that were really thick, right? Just really, really thick turnbuckles, like with a 3/4 inch rod or a 1 inch rod, and they're pretty big. Um, I was thinking something like that. If I could get, if I could manage to get something that's around 48 inches long or close to it, would be brilliant because then I could put it in place, bolt it down, and then turn the turnbuckle to tighten it one way or the other. I'd probably push it up instead. But you have to restrict movement both ways because the forces aren't just expanding, they're also contracting. So you have to restrict it. That's why you can't just use like, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you can't, you got to consider both directions. Um, you can't just like push it up and like let the pressure hold it because it'll just bounce over the top of it. I mean, it's going to go out and it's going to come in. Anyway, I'm off on a ramble. Um, Matt Matt Litchfield. God, boy, I'm really screwed up. I got my bass ride over the weekend, fairly new install, but definitely need a high output alternator on a good loud volume. My ABS light kicks on, and then the car wants to cut out. Yeah, you if you're dropping voltage quick, you said on a good loud volume. If you're dropping voltage really fast, like as soon as you crank it up, the voltage just drops, just tanks. Um, you need a alternator. You need an alternator. But if your voltage drops over the course of a few minutes, like a minute or two, then a battery is going to help you too. It's kind of, it all depends, you know. And actually, no, if it's dropping really fast, a battery would probably be a better choice because you need a buffer in there. It's still going to dip. So yeah, that's the, I had it backwards. If it's dropping really fast, you need a battery. And that way, because it'll carry it and let the alternator keep up in the spaces. If it's dropping slowly, then you need to worry about getting your charging system boosted up. You got enough battery. So that's how that works. Um, all depends on how quickly that voltage is falling. Let's see here. How much is the new Slapz 15s you running? I am running. Hold on, I'll pull them up. I like to check. Everybody knows I'm going to make sure I know what I'm talking about before I open my mouth. I like to give good information. And the V2 dual 2s are $314. And you can knock 10% off of that. So that'd be like, if you use my coupon code, that'd be like, what, 390, 385, 385, 390, 15 and 30. Yeah, it'd be 15. So that'd be 85, 385, something like that, or 285. It'd be like 285 after my discount code. And I got 4,000 watts on each one. So just so you know, that's what I've got the rated 4,000 watts on each sub. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying, hey, these things are rated to handle 4,000 watts RMS. I'm not saying that. They're rated to handle 2,000 watts RMS. But I have 4,000 watts RMS on them right now, giving them the beans. That's all I can say. Carbon fiber dead bonds. Dead bounce. I guess. Let's see here. That's funny. Dead bounce. uh, Stephen Hunter said, I have two modified adjustable tractor top links for bracing. You like the one that you put on the top of the 3-point hitch? I'll be damned, but y'all didn't know I thought about that. See, I grew up on a farm. I drove tractors and shit. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. That would work, yeah. Yeah, that would work real good. Because there's a sleeve in there. And if I could get one with reverse threads, that would be just that's perfect, man. I need to go to Farmer Supply Place. That's what I need to do. That's where I need to go shopping. Get one of them suckers. That sounds like a good plan. Y'all are leading me down a good path. Thank you. Um, Matt Litchfield, yep. I'm only running one excess power D3400. Maybe try a second. Yeah, I I'll tell you a secret though. Let me put this out there, and I'm just going to tell you the real thing. My buddy is trying to. He has this extremely big build, and he's insuring the build through his insurance company. Um, and they wanted specific brands of stuff to be able to insure this all the equipment and everything. So he pulled two trunked under lithium 10Ks out of there. He's replacing them with five of those batteries, and three didn't work. Three of those did not work. He's had to order two more to catch back up and replace the two 10Ks. Just saying. That's all I can say. Yeah, order a second one. JP JP 23 to 2000 watts. Not real familiar with it with those amps. Or is that an amp? 23. Yeah, that's an amp, right? That's the 23 V2. It sounds like the amp. I'm not real familiar with that line. Yeah, five. Franco Quaid, see what you said. Go to Tractor Supply and get parts for the stripper pole. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, I'm thinking about it in my head. I'm thinking about that part. So I know it's that rod that connects from the implement to the top of the 3-point hitch. I'm wondering if they sell that whole rod and how much that thing costs. I bet you it ain't cheap. But it'll have a turnbuckle in the center of it to adjust the angle of the implement. You know, the hard angle that stays there. There's a turnbuckle in the middle of that part. But I bet you that ain't something that gets broke a lot. I don't know that this is going to have one. But yeah, that's got a potential. I'm going to have to go in there and look. I'll pull up I think there's, I mean, I live in Springfield, but I'm sure there's a Tractor Supply of some sort around here somewhere. Even if it's just a bush hog place, because the bush hog is going to have that same part. And it would only need to be like a half inch to be plenty thick enough, because that's steel. That's a high carbon steel. So it should be fine. Let's see here. Richie said, "Oh, I'm gonna try 4 of them." But yeah, 5, man. 5. It's the guy that's pulling 3,000 amps. Yeah. The two of them were handling the 3,000 amps. Think about that shit. And so far, 3 of those other ones are not handling the 3,000 amps. It's a lot of damn power, man. Anyway, so we have got to the bottom of the question pile. I'm going to throw you guys up on the thing. I'm not sure why I hadn't already done that. Probably because I'm an idiot. Yeah, we've already established that I'm a dumbass. So we were talking about stripper poles, and that is one of the subjects I was going to hit on tonight. When to brace and why to brace. So here's the thing. When you have roof flex, there's multiple reasons to stop that. And my roof, I'm going to play this again. I'm gonna give me a minute. I'm gonna pull it up over here, actually, so you don't have to do the whole thing. I want to show y'all what I'm talking about, but I don't have it prepared because, again, idiot. I have a solid excuse for all that. So It's solid, man. You can't fault me. Where's a good easy video for that? The point is that you have to restrain it because that long wide surface area, when it moves, it as it moves out of the way, like pulses up, that's pressure that you're losing. If it moves half an inch up, you're losing all of that air pressure. And that roof will literally follow the pressure. So the pressure doesn't build. If you stop it from moving, all of a sudden you build pressure. You will gain significant amounts of sound pressure, SPL, by stopping the roof from moving. That's a kind of a thing, man. I'm going to pull up. Yeah, I'm just going to run this video again. I'll show you in this video. I'll pause it and show you guys. Pay attention when I run this again. Pay attention to the roof when I'm doing the demos. Try not to look at the hair flying and look at the roof. Okay.
Hit the chill back and you stand up, stand up. Start to move your body with your hands up, hands up. Rock it to and fro while they coming through the door. Now they leaning on the bar with the cans up, cans up. Hit the flow fast and you back up, back up. DJ got it lit, turn the track up, track up. Moving side to side, feel the rhythm start to ride. Now they stepping to the beat, never slack. Just how low can you go? Can you go? Can you drop it right down to the floor, to the floor? With a body like a demon, make the men start screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know. Ooh, how far down can you go? Can you go? Can you lay it right down on the floor, on the floor? With the body like a demon and the men still screaming. Then you turn to the crowd, let them know, let them know, let them know, let them know, let them know.
See it? Look at it jumping up and down.
Lights turn low when they line up, line up. Shorty got the vibe, time to wind up.
All right, so that's the problem. Y'all saw it, right? It's just boom, 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 boom. Well, being in there myself, I can see when I hit the lows that sucker is moving like over an inch. The whole roof up here on by the windshield, it's moving like over an inch up and down. It's a lot. Now, whenever you're playing the lows, you can see it moving. As the frequency goes up, you get to see it less because it's moving faster. And it doesn't move as much, but it's still relieving pressure. Even though it's not moving as much, it's moving the same amount as the wave, which means it's not building pressure. Adding a stripper pole to your roof to brace it can boost you a whole dB or more just by doing that. It depends on how much roof flex you have. And you go in there and beat on that roof with a hammer all day long and it feels like you're hitting concrete. But you let them Slapz get to work and they'll show you that it is not concrete. It looks more like Jello. It's bonkers how much pressure is building by that. Yeah, I was going to get to that too. Matt said, and that's another part. So not only are you losing pressure from the roof moving, but think about this. Your windshield's here, your roof is here. Your roof is doing this, so it's taking the windshield with it. And the windshield doesn't stretch, okay? So what's happening is the seal is stretching open like this. And when the roof is coming back down in pressure, 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 bam, 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 bam. You know, if you get enough of that happening at one time, first of all, you're going to lose your seal up there. The second, you're going to be slamming this hammer of a roof into the edge of the windshield over and over again. That's what's happening. And it can absolutely bust the windshield. So the windshield, like I said, it doesn't stretch. It doesn't bend, you know, it's stiff. So when it bends or stretches, it just goes to pieces. Kind of like, you know, a woman. Let's see here. Reloaded salute. Looks like it's moving 6 inches one way. It ain't moving 6 inches, but it's moving a lot. And moving looks cool on video. Don't get me wrong. The roof jumping up and down looks really cool on video, but it ain't worth a shit for sound pressure. So we got to get a brace. Now, I was thinking about doing like a shoe. I tried to explain this to my wife. Now, I'm sure y'all have been there at some point where you decided for some stupid ass reason in your stupid man gorilla brain that you needed to explain something completely alien to your wife. And you're sitting there explaining it, and she's looking at you like you're a fucking idiot. Well, that's what happened. So, so my idea that I had cooking in my head was making a foot. And I'll try to show you guys with these two implements here, my comb and my pen, if I can get them on camera. So if you imagine this comb as a foot, right? The heel of the foot is here. The toe of the foot is here. This is the pole coming up, attaching not to the middle, but back just a little ways. And that with a pivot right here to allow that to pivot, going up and up against the roof. And that would, if you tried to move it here or here, it would try to compress the pole or bend the foot. And if you had this made out of something good and rigid, you would have a solid brace. You see what I'm saying? But I was calling it a foot for obvious reasons. It's a foot. It's got a heel and a toe and an ankle, right? Just up there and then turn, that's what I was trying to explain to her. The look I got, man. She's like, I'm going for it. I'm still trying to explain it. And I'm getting this look. Oh my God. Some of them roofs flex so much, I've seen the metal start. Oh yeah, it'll tear apart. Yeah, absolutely will. G-Body's laughing at me. Clayton Smith, I got two 15 Hayanka, 1600 RMS, 3200 max, two 15 Hayankas. Okay, like the one I got over here. I run a 3000 watt max tar amp, so 1500. Oh. All right, first of all, don't use max numbers. That just adds confusion to a statement. Give me the RMS on everything. I don't need the max numbers. I hate when max numbers. I know I'm just clearing it up, not bitching at you, just educating you. Max numbers are pointless. It's just a double of the RMS number, and it's just a dumb number, so don't use them. But it is just something that bugs me. I hate when people get caught up into those max numbers. It drives me crazy. 1500 watts tar amps on one on each sub. And to upgrade. Well, I need to upgrade my alternator and battery, or just a battery. So you got a 3. I'm not sure. You said I'm running a 1500 watt RMS tar amps, one on each sub. So you're running two 1500 watt sub amps. That's going to be around around 300 amps. So if you run a Trunk Thunder Lithium 5K version 2, you'd be fine with that setup. An extra alternator is not your best spent money because it's probably not going to help you. If you're running an AGM battery, an extra alternator is going to just bring in that much power drop, but it won't be able to charge the batteries fast enough to help that. So it's going to create a sketchy electrical system at that point. It's like having a herd of horses pulling a mousetrap. It's just not correct, if you follow me. So in your case, a Trunk Thunder Lithium battery or any lithium battery is going to be a better choice than an alternator at that power level at this situation. And locate that battery near your amplifier. That way it's pulling from the battery, and let the alternator that you have keep that battery up. You'll be in better shape than if you went the other way around. If you're going to pick one or the other, I would go with the battery. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, and upgrade your power wires too, your charging cables, your wire running from your alternator, ground and power to the battery, and all that stuff. The big three, as they say. But yeah, but don't put an AGM on there. You're wasting your money if you do that. Scar brand battery. I don't know, man. I was talking about the Scar amplifiers, but I don't know if there is a Scar, but I'm sure there is because Scar's trying to make some of everything. Yeah. Okay. Apparently, Matt Itchfield said yes, Scar brand, just to save some money. Oh God, I'm not a Scar hater, guys. I'm not. I'm not at all. The companies out there that are releasing products that can do big things on small money. Um, I clap my hands. I applaud those people, those companies. That said, um, examples are like the Scar EVL. It's a real hit and miss sub. Some people love it, some hate it, and there's reasons to be touted for both. But most of the subwoofer line from Scar is in pretty good deal, except they're starting to jack the prices up so high now that it's just not that big of a budget brand anymore. The problem I have with Scar isn't their subwoofers, it's their amplifiers. They use the boards they're using for those things are so inefficient. It's like you buy a 2,000 watt amp, you expect it to pull 200 amps at full tilt boogie, right? And it may pull 300 plus. So you're saving a few bucks by buying the Scar amp over a different amp, but you're going to take all that money and dump it into extra electrical just to be able to use it. It's just a bad design, and they're not as cheap as they should be. So I don't really care for Scar amplifiers. They sound fine and they make power. They make their power, but they take a whole lot to make it. And I don't think it's a good financial decision to buy most of the Scar gear, the amplifier section. Subwoofers are kind of starting to get that way too. At least they do perform. They're pretty good subs. Clayton, let's see here. What's up? Yeah. Bro, I had to grab that Recoil 1800.5. Thanks for referring to the company and trying this fall. Yeah, it's a good amp. I've heard more and more bad things about Recoil's customer service and their back end, but as far as the gear goes, I haven't had any faults with any of it yet. I've had good experiences with the gear that they sell. That's a real good buy on that amp. I remember doing that video. Sample this fall. G-Body Spanky Reloaded said, I'm running Scar 15s right now. But Gary got me debating on these Slapz. Yeah. Oh, hands down, dude. You'd have to. I've seen Scars line up, and this is straight up, dude. Straight up honesty. I would run the Oblivion version 215s over any subwoofer that Scar makes. I think they're better than all of them. Honestly, I think they are. Franklin Quaid said, makes sense to me. Yep. Joe Berserker. Hey, peeps. Good luck with that stripper pole. I need some Excedrin. Howdy. Keep facing on. You're such an asshole. I like Joe Berserker. Yeah. The Recoil 140.4 RMS. 1200 on one sub channel. Yeah. That's a nice little amp, dude. What's funny, guys? Let me show y'all something. So let me turn my camera a little bit, give y'all a better view. So you see my amp board back here behind me. I did have a 1500 watt amp right here that I was powering my big subwoofer over in the corner. Now this little Slapz 4-channel right here, that's $100. That Slapz is powering both of my left and right mids and highs. And I've got the other channel bridged, powering that 15-inch subwoofer over there across the room. And this shit is so sounds so good. And the little B2 DSP up here is handling all the processing for that. What a combination, dude. I mean, this has got $160 DSP and $100 amplifier, and you could run a whole car off of that. and it would get down. Really, really cool setup. I wasn't sure what I was expecting. I was like, I'm just going to hook this up on that the third and fourth channel, and shit, boy. I can't give you guys a demo because it would sound like hot garbage. But let's put it this way: if I turned it up past halfway, my wife in the living room comes back here and complains that she can't hear the TV, and she cranks the shit out of that TV. So it gets down. I mean, it does. That is one of the best buys in amplifiers you can find anywhere. That Scar 160.4 Mini. That is or Scar, that Slapz amp. That is a ridiculously good amplifier at a very tiny footprint that's very efficient and makes great power and is super clean. It checks every single box. It is by far the coolest, most awesome amp on the website. Um, the Shock 8K and the Shock 5K, those are great amps too. The Shock series. I would rather have, but like I said, I'm always honest, guys. I don't play favorites. I would rather have this little Slapz 160.4 on mids and highs than the Slapz Shock, the Slapz Shock 2K.2. I think it sounds better to me, and it's a lot cheaper. Does the pound for pound the Shock 2K 2 channel amp sounds fine. It does. It cranks. It gets stupid loud, and it gives you tons of power. But if you're keeping the volume down to mid to light level volume, the little guy sounds better. It's cleaner, and it's a lot cheaper. If you're asking me for advice on mids and highs amps, I'm going to tell you straight up: get as many of those as you need to get the job done. You're going to be happy no matter what. If you're on a crazy stupid budget, you can get one of those and run your mids and highs, run 2 channels in the front, and then run your sub off the third and fourth channel all day long. All day long. And that's going to be a pretty hot sub. It's going to be pretty strong. Really, really good combination. And it's $100, guys. Did I mention that it's like $100? And it's the size of a freaking sandwich. You can put the thing in your glove box. You can sit on it and not even realize you sit on it. It's a little bitty thing. You slide it under your seat. It's perfect for so many applications. Like I said, don't get no better than an amp this big that can pretty much do whatever you need it to do. And it's $100. There's just no way to lose in that scenario. I had to grab that Rico 1800.5. Yep. All right, we went backwards a ways here because I am reading the same thing. Yeah. Let's see what we're doing here. Hold on. I'm missing something. Have started AGM, yeah. It's 185. Yeah, man. Well, Jason's giving you a lookout, but I don't mess around. Let's see here. Appreciate it, brother. Later, Joe. I've been checking out that B2 DSP. Yeah, you don't have to worry about checking it out, brother. Just get one. It does the thing. I run it all the time. Have my phone hooked up to it right now. One. I'll show you. Right there. That's the app running right there. All I had to do is open it. It's hooked up. I can make changes on it. It's running. I messed with it today because I had to do the subwoofer thing. It works great, man. It's easy to use. It's inexpensive. It has no noise in the floor. I mean, I don't know what else you can say about it. It freaking does the job. It gives you all the controls. Plus, it's got a limiter. That limiter is cool as shit. That's a game-changing piece of equipment right there. And a limiter keeps you from clipping different signals, it subdues the signals and keeps them level. When you start cranking the balls out of something, once you set the limiter up, even if you say you set it up for, you're playing normal music, right? And you got your clip set for that, it will actually compress that bass wave. If you try to play something that's real bass heavy, it'll compress that bass wave to keep it below clipping for the most part. It'll compress mids and highs. It'll also compress bass. It can keep you from running dirty. Like it'll be normal whenever, but then when you crank it up and you get it loud enough to where it would normally clip, it compresses it. Really cool. That if the thing only had that single feature, it would be worth the price of the whole unit. That one thing. And a lot of DSPs don't have a limiter built into them. A lot of expensive DSPs don't. Yes, sir. That's been said by a whole lot of people. Jason's talking shit about them batteries. I concur, man. Yes, it is Bluetooth. Adrian Fonseca. I like that name. Let me say it again. Make sure I'm reading it right. Adrian Fonseca. It sounds like a freaking spy, man. Mr. Fonseca, would you please take a seat? I love it, dude. That is a great last name. Fonseca. I love it. Yeah, area Slapz. Have nice ammo. Ammo? I don't know about ammo, man. I've never seen any Slapz ammo. I know I'm missing something. Typos are funny, dude. Look, guys, I make typos too, okay? I make typos all the time. But I love trying to read typos and make fun of them because they're hilarious sometimes. You want to try something cool? Just open up your text like you're going to text somebody and pick the first word, the first word that pops up as an offering, and then just keep clicking that word. So like if you go type an I or whatever in it, the first word that you see pop up, hit that with your thumb and then just keep hitting it whatever pops up next. It'll make a sentence that kind of sort of makes sense, but you never know where it's going to go. Do that a dozen times or whatever, and then send that to whoever and watch for their reaction. It's a great freaking game. I love it. I'm just a sadistic asshole. I'm sorry. I want to make the setup for the shop. Yeah, that's what I did. What you need is hang on now. The thing you need is one of these things. So you need a battery because you're going to obviously overpull this. This little brick right here, this thing. Okay, it's got this kind of plug in the end for one of these cables, one of them. On the other end, it comes with this little thing, and you can take it and put 2 wires in there. This little dude here makes 10 amps. Now, 10 amps is not enough to keep up with if you're giving it to beans for, hours, but it's enough to charge the battery. So the average amount of use that you're going to pull is about 100 watts for most listening situations. You're not going to be pulling much more than that. And if you got a battery hooked up to that 10 amp charger will have no problem keeping the battery up for a little system like that. And those things are like 10 or 15 bucks, 20 bucks off Amazon. It's really, really cool. That helps a lot whenever you're trying to do that kind of stuff. The E is short. Oh, wait a minute. Fonseca. So is it Fonseca or Fonseca? Seca is long, so it's Fonseca. I like Seca better. All right, let's do it. Listen to both. I'm going to try both here. Fonseca. Fonseca. I don't know. They both sound pretty cool. I'll give you that. What else do we need for a test bench? Um, I would say to have a uh, man. There's a lot of shit you need for a test bench, but for a test bench to do most small to mid level stuff, whatever that AGM battery is that you took out of your shit when you put lithium in there, because AGM sucks for that. Well, AGM has one thing going for it. It's got a pretty deep storage, so it works pretty good on the test bench. So grab up your worthless AGM that you don't use in your car anymore, put that on the test bench, and run something like that, a little 10 amp charger like that, and let it maintain it. You could run it. You could run it on less, but if you run it on, I've already done some experimentation. If you run it on 1 amp, it won't keep up. 5 amps, it almost keeps up. It's close, but 10 amps is the perfect spot to maintain for daily, occasional, music for half an hour and shit like that. It has no trouble. 10 amps seems to be the money hole, the money spot for it. But you don't want to use a battery charger, because the battery chargers, most of them are smart, and what they'll do is they'll charge the battery up and then they'll turn off and they'll just sit there. You'd think they would kick back on and start charging again, but they don't, unless they're pretty expensive. But the power supply is always trying to put power in. So since it's charging at like 13.5 volts or whatever, it will just steadily try to put power in, and it'll always keep it topped off. And it won't hurt the battery. Think about what a car does to a battery. The alternator is charging much higher than that for however long the car is running, or what an alternator on a generator does to the battery. It's steadily charging the entire time it's running. It can run for years like that. So it's not going to hurt it to have a trickle charge trying to charge it, as long as you're not trying to keep the voltage up stupid high. 13 volts, 14 volts is totally fine. You can do that indefinitely. A lot of AH, a lot of Empires. Yeah, Headway is good for that, but Headway is Headway, man. Do you really want Headway sitting out in the shop with something charging it and you're not there? I mean, come on, dude. The good stuff about Headway is high throughput, high C ratings, and it's cheap. But it's just sketch, and you're out and outside, so it's going to be going through all the temperature changes and stuff. Man, no, I don't want Headway nowhere. I got a Headway cell in there in a box. And that's just where it's going to stay. I use it for demonstration purposes. Um, yeah, no, I ain't messing with. No, I wouldn't use Headway on a bench. Hell no. Not even thinking about it. I don't like Headway. I have history with Headway. The battery hookup side is out of Super Beast Headway. They've been out of them for a long time. They do have some cheap options. Yeah, lithium banks. Yeah, sure. If anyone needs battery power and you're on a tight budget, yeah, battery hookup's great. You just got to know what you're buying. So before you go and buy a bunch of cells, learn knowledge. Wait a minute. I think I still have that in here. See, right here, look at the bottom of the screen. You see it. Let's expand our skill budget. That's something that most people don't work on. You got a time budget. How much time can I push aside to work on something? Okay. And you got the money budget. How much money am I going to push aside to spend during that time to work on something? People do not do is budget skill, budget knowledge. So the more you spend on this up here, the less time you're going to spend doing the thing, and the less money you're going to spend doing the thing. So if you're on a limited time money budget, or either or, putting stuff in here is going to help. So as an example, this battery thing. So if I go over to battery hookup and I find some, this is a cool, so this cell's cool. This is pretty cheap. I could buy a bunch of these. Oh yeah, it looks like a pretty good deal, right? Okay, bam. So you jump on that and you have them shipped to your house. All right. Then you find out that they are totally complete cat shit. Okay. because you go on and you do the research and you do the knowledge thing. But now you done spent the time of being prepared and wasted your time with all that, and you done spent a bunch of money, and you are no closer to where you were trying to get than when you started. That's because you didn't fill this up first. Allow some time in your budget to learn stuff, because knowledge is going to keep you from wasting the other two. Hopefully that at least resonated a little bit. Let's see here. The second one. Headway, battery hookup. Okay. So Rufus said, hey, got building a sixth order versus fourth order. What's the difference? Why would you choose one over the other? Whoa, what about to do? Okay. Over the other. About to do a major build and can't decide. Well, sir, I literally just spent about a year making that decision. So I actually can offer some advice. They both have a lot of different aspects. And so it's not not one single thing that I can say, well, this is better because of this. They have lots of different positive and negatives. And I'll give you some examples, so maybe you can help you figure out what you want to do. A fourth order can be operated in a significantly smaller space. So since a fourth order contains a sealed chamber and a ported chamber, you can knock a chunk of that size off. You don't have to have as big of a space, especially on the bottom. Whereas sixth order, you need a ported chamber on the bottom, which means the bottom has to be big enough to be a ported box for however many subs in it. Okay. Which means it's going to be like twice as big as sealed enclosure. Okay. So the fourth is smaller, can be smaller depending on what you're doing. So you can put more drivers or fill it in a smaller space. The sixth is going to be a wider band. So on a sixth, you got two peaks, right? You got your bottom or rear chamber, and you got your front or top chamber, whichever one, however you have it positioned. And then there's going to be a little slag in the middle, but you've got a nice wide band. But with that comes the need to be good at building a sixth. You need to have somebody that can design it and get it right. Because if you get it wrong, it's a pain in the ass to fix. And it's not easy to build a good sixth, to design a good sixth. Now on a fourth, there's a whole lot more headway there. You're not going to have a complete disaster because you're building a bottom sealed chamber is literally just a multiple of whatever the sealed enclosure specs are for your sub. Sometimes you can even build it a little bit smaller than that, but don't go too small. Get in trouble. You'll cook your coals, among other things. But you build a small sealed chamber, and then you have a ratio. So that's where the ratios come in. Sealed, or not sealed, but a sixth order, usually you want to be like a little bit larger on the top chamber, at least like a 1.25 or a 1.5. So to one ratio, which means if you've got, 10 cubic feet on the bottom, you would have 15 cubic feet on the top, right? To 1.5, 1 to 1.5 ratio. And they can get bigger, but again, the sixth is a really big box. Now on a fourth, it's common to run those at 1.1, but you could also run at 1.2 and all that. So the difference is several. You tend to get hotter coils in the fourth order. They tend to have better cone control, easier design, but you create motor force imbalances and stuff that are kind of weird, and you'll build heat on the subs that are the furthest back away from the front chamber, the front port. They're just kind of wonky. They're easy to get right-ish, but you can still screw them up. And even when they're right, they're not as good as a sixth. But a sixth is harder to build. If you get it right, though, a sixth is amazing. So the things to think is sixth is harder to design and build. Takes up a lot more space, but gives you amazing results if you get it right. Um, and the fourth is easier to build, easier to design, but even if you get it right, the results are not nearly as good as they are on a sixth. It's a good starter point, though. Hopefully, that was enough of an explanation to kind of get you in the ballpark. You figure out what constraints you have. Do you have, obviously, if you don't know the difference, then you're not heavily knowledgeable in that area. So that's a constraint. That's going to lean you toward a fourth, unless you have somebody that you can call on to help. If you have space issues, the fourth is better for that. But, it's just like, what are you wanting to do? You know what I'm saying? And what do you have to work with? What budgets do you have? That's what I'm getting at. Hopefully, I give you enough information that you can at least think about which one would be better for you. And if you don't know, just do a fourth or a ported box. I'm running a ported box. I don't know. Bobby said, G-Body, yo. I see a lot of limiter stuff on the Brazilian DSPs. Yep. Well, it's it's aimed at high output. That's prone to clipping. Yes. Um, yeah. Well, it's kind of a thing, man. We do stupid shit. So you're saying that most people are not stupid. I digress. I mean, there's at least 50% of the population that are Democrats. Um, did I say that out loud? I did. I said that out loud. Um, yeah. DSPs are not that. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, how many tweeters have you blown? You know, I mean, think about that shit. And then another one is if you're running, you got your limit, you got your gain set on your subwoofer. It's doing the thing, and then you've got it set, and you play some new crazy track off of YouTube. Big, huge bass hits, and it's just and you're like, oh my god, you're cranking it down. It sounds like hot garbage. Here's the thing: with a proper setup limiter, you wouldn't even know it sounded like hot garbage. It would fix it as it was coming out. It would just fit appropriately. I mean, it's like that's really freaking cool, guys. Um, it's not just a safety button; it's also a tool. You know, Chad said it's a very true statement. Knowledge truly is power. Jason, I bought a super beast a couple years ago. I was halfway through fabbing the bus bars. I didn't like that the shells were used and not well matched. Yep. Yep. I have. Yep. I have a history with a flaming headway bank on fire. You ever thrown something that's on fire, like the whole thing? It's not a good thing. Hello, BassHead family. Play It and Live It is in the house. I think I'm late, but I finally made it. And it's not when you showed up. It's the fact that you showed up with style. Uh, let's see here. Are you a Peterbilt or Kenworth man? Kenworth, but they're the same truck now. So, but yeah, I like KWs. Um, and yeah, I just like the way the KW is laid out. I mean, they're really the same truck. They're both made by PACCAR, so Rufus said I seen. I can fit 415 big brutes. Okay, hang on a minute. We're getting into that fourth again. I can fit 415 big brutes in a fourth. I can only fit 3 fourth. I can only fit 3. What would give me the most output? I can fit 415s big brutes in a fourth. I can only fit 3. There must be something missing here. um, if you're challenged on airspace, if you can put 4 in a fourth, and then say 3 in a sixth. Okay, let's go there. That's what you said, but I'm gonna add those words. I think you meant to type that. If that's the thing, um, and you can realistically give your 415s the airspace that they need, right? You're not cutting them short. You're giving them full airspace. Then I would run the 415s in the fourth. More cone area is king. Uh, you know, if you're probably going to wind up happier with that. And because if you screw up a sixth, you just got a ported box. I mean, that's the truth. If you screw up a sixth order, you've got 315s in a ported box. That's what you got. You know, if you screw up a fourth, you got a okay fourth order. Let's see, Jason, what is the charging voltage of them Lev 60? Good question. Usually it's like a volt or two higher than the resting voltage. LiPo 4, so 14.8 max. Yeah, you don't want to go over that. Just like the trunk turn lithium, yeah. I'm getting, what are we saying here? You God. I'm getting low numbers with my BassHead Garage watt meter. Doesn't like my amp. How do you correct yours? It doesn't like your amp. The first thing I would say is, yeah, I caught you, Rufus. I saw it. So I fixed it for you. I got your back, man. I'm just laughing at you while I got your back. That's what good friends do. Roll on the floor laughing at you while I'm helping your ass up. That's how it works. You guys said I'm getting low numbers with my BassHead Garage watt meter. Doesn't like my amp. There's only one thing that the BassHead Garage watt meter tends to not like, and that's DC offset. If you have pretty significant DC offset, sometimes it will not work. It just straight up won't work. If it's working and it's showing you numbers, I would ask, what amp do you have? You're the numbers it's showing you may be the accurate numbers. You may just have a problem with the system that it's reading. The BassHead Garage watt meter reads pretty accurately, but there's no way to change how it reads. You can't like adjust the setting. You're probably just not expecting the low numbers that you're seeing. You know, it's a painful process. Just don't show nobody. You just you figure it out. You know, you sort it out. You may have a high ohm load and it's not reading right, or you may have bad electrical and you're just not getting enough power to it for it to actually make the power that it's supposed to make. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, man. It's probably not the patient, or probably not the doctor. It's probably the patient. Jason said, how do I know the numbers are low? Yeah, there you go. Yep. Atar amps, Big Boss, 8K. Yeah. Yep. That's that. So you're probably, you may have a weak electrical, and that would cause you to get low numbers. If your electrical isn't keeping up with it, that would cause it. So, especially the tar amps. Tar amps are freaking horribly inefficient amplifiers. The only ones worse than them are the Scar amps. So they take a lot more. They need a lot more power to make their beans, right? So you may have an electrical inefficiency. That would be my first guess. Let's see. Anybody else got a question? Nope. I think we're caught up right at the moment. So, do y'all like my foot idea for the brace? See, I can mount it straight to the ceiling with a little block, but that leaves the plywood being the bed. But if I add that brace, that vertical little I-beam kind of thing, and connect it to that, it creates this nice long, wide pad for it to hold. I think it's a better choice. I can just see myself carving a giant wooden foot, sticking it to the ceiling. That's what my brain is seeing. I don't want to see that, but every time I think about it, I see a big, long, ski length foot stuck to the ceiling. Um, might be clipping like crazy. Yeah, that's the thing too. When your voltage drops, you clip a lot easier, which is like, man, keeping the voltage up is such an important thing. Will your amp still play at 11 volts? Yes. Will it still play at 10? Yeah. It'll even probably play at 9 volts. Problem is, as your voltage drops, the amperage goes up. So the whole thing just gets worse and worse. And also, as your voltage drops and the amps go up, the clipping goes down. So you'll start going into clipping, even though everything's still working, you'll be clipping the hell out of your sub. So now you're making your amp hot because you're running it at higher amps and lower voltage. You're making the subwoofer hot because you're running it in hard clipping and don't even know it. And you've taxed your electrical system completely. So your alternators in there just giving it the beans. Your battery's hot because its resistance goes up. So its C rating goes down, which means everything gets worse and worse and worse. All of this stuff creates the problem that is created by. So once you get started with this road, it just snowballs and keeps getting bigger and bigger and worse and worse. That's why keeping your voltage up is so important. It does a whole lot of bad stuff to the entire system from front to back. But you will cook subwoofers and you will cook amplifiers by running them at low voltage. We need more Encore bass, Play It and Live It said. Flexing on the new subs, including the wife's hair, fighting to stay up with the new subs. I appreciate your both interactions. Yeah. That's coming. I haven't got her out there yet. She didn't go with me to the meet and greet the other day. And I had been up all night, dude. I had the night before, I tried to go to sleep, couldn't sleep. And so I stayed up. I stayed up and stayed up and stayed up. And I was up the next day and I went to the meet. And I was up, you saw the video. I'm out here doing the thing. Like 40 something hours awake. But yeah, she stayed home and I went out there and I don't even remember half of it now. I have my I was in truck driver gear where she had just, white line. You follow the line. It's kind of what I was doing. Jason said another way to roughly measure amp outside output is to clamp the amp's power wire. Yeah. Look for its draw. The watt meter should be showing 800 watts to 1,000 watts. Yeah. Provided your voltage is consistent. Red Pill says you'll be in the 160 sooner or later. Just go ahead and do a Lexion windshield. I'm gonna tell you, man. I don't know. If I build a build, I could get in the 60s. I can do that. The problem is, do I want to? So I want an aggressive, ornery, sketchy demo build that kind of freaks people out and does really good hair tricks and flexes and does all the things. But to build a 60 plus build is just a lot more power. And I basically would need to run 4 8Ks to really do it. That's just the honest to God truth. You need to do a 60 plus build right. You need about 25,000 watts, 30,000 watts, something like that. And beyond that, if I'm running the Slapz gear, I'd be running probably the Smackdowns, and maybe 615s. Yeah, I could get it off of 415s barely. So let's say I'd run four of the Smackdown 15s and 4 amplifiers, 1 on each subwoofer. then I could do a 60 like that, probably with a fourth. Um, I could do a six with four subs too. I don't know, one of the two, but yeah, I could do it. I could probably even do it with flat wall, but basically that would mean replacing. I'd have to put a lot more power. I'm already putting 4,000 watts on 2,000 watt subs, so I'd probably run the SmackDown version twos, four of those, and four 8Ks, and that would put it in a 60. That'd get me a 60, guarantee it. That would get me over. It'd get me a 61 probably. It would be ridiculous. But it also, he said that bass would be awesome. I just caught that. And also that requires, I have to build a new box because that box doesn't have the airspace to support that kind of build. Well, no, it might could. It might could. Because thinking, yeah, it's on the small side, which is fine because I'm putting 8,000 watts on the sub, and small side's probably a good idea. Yeah, it probably would work. I'd probably put another baffle on though. Add another baffle. That'd pull the subs out a little bit more too. Maybe two baffles. I could do that. So it's possible. It's a thing that might happen. But then you start tearing up, door latches and all sorts of shit starts breaking. I mean, the firewall, the brake assembly, the master cylinder, air conditioner components under the hood, all the lines going through the firewall. There's so much crap that breaks, and that's hard to fix. Window regulators in your windows, they get torn up, and then you got to tear the door apart to fix those. And it's, a lot of times it's like the sheet metal that's wrapped around them. It's a real freaking mess, dude. Um, so Alexa windshield, I would almost just rather pay to replace the windshield at every event than have Alexa windshield. They suck. Um, he said, I think that brake would be awesome. I know, right? The big giant like caveman foot stuck to the roof. I see it every time. I'm not going to do it. No, I might do a skeleton foot though. He would have made a good demo. I should have brought his leg over here. He wouldn't miss it. He's a skeleton. He don't care. Uh, Rick Nunez, what's up? What's good, man? Not much, my friend. Power factor, yeah. That power factor is only on one setting, so there's two different ways to read. You can switch between the two. I forget which one's which. But yeah. So a Cadillac, oh yeah. So a Cadillac hearse with 615s and and a Lexan windshield it is. Yeah. Who's buying all this shit? You know what's sad is the most expensive part of that build is the freaking materials to build the box. They do the interior. The equipment is actually less expensive than all the materials and stuff that you need to do that whole build. That's crazy. I mean, on the six I was getting ready to do, I was getting ready to drop almost $700 just on plywood, and that wasn't going to be enough. That was just going to be, I figured, most of it, and that doesn't count the glue, that doesn't count the box of screws and bits and sandpaper and all this other crap that I was going to have to buy. That shit gets expensive. You can easily spend $1,000 on material to build a box, a big, big enclosure like that, easily. Um, and also, they don't count sound deadening and a whole lot of time. Uh, Chad, Chad Abernathy. I know I'm pronouncing that one right. Is it possible to have a multi-voltage system using one alt, like a DC to DC charger? You charge at over 15 or 16. Is it possible? Yes. But oh my God, that's the wrong way to do that. Um, you need, uh, it's been done. I mean, I mean, Steve Meade built something similar to that in his build because he was running like 16 volts. Um, he was running like 16 volts on his stereo, but he was running normal voltage on the vehicle. He had essentially he had a DC to DC converter, I believe. He ended up having to change it up though. He did a long build on it, and then he had issues with it, so he had to go back and change it up and do it differently. But he still used a similar process. It's a doable thing, but if your vehicle's an older vehicle, there's a real good chance that it'll handle that charging voltage anyway. If it's a heavily computerized, there's a good chance it won't. And, you know, it is what it is. Let's see here. 16 volts and a step-down transformer on the other side going back to the factory electrical. Yeah, that is doable. Yeah, and that's true too. That's a very, very convoluted way of doing it. But, I mean, you know, you need, and the other thing is your car, if you're doing that, you need to be able to supply the car with like 70 amps, 60 amps. So that's a lot of power to run through that system. Most of your, like, that kind of a thing would be like a charger that charges at 5 or 10 amps. So you may have to run like a whole bunch of those, you know, to do that stuff. That's a significant amount of power that you're going to, a lot of current that your car pulls while you're driving. Jason said, hopefully your meter is not way off, like it's having a problem. Make sure your speaker wires properly go through the sensor. Yeah, that's true. You got to pick up the amperage. So, Flat and Live It. You so close to breaking windshield competition. Oh, I was basing hard, filling the roof, bounce up and down, and I was also filling the windshield. And up there toward the top of that sucker, man, it was like if you put a hard part of your hand against it, and it would hurt. It would impact you and hurt. It's moving quite a bit. If you guys don't know, the 55 is literally the line where you're in a pretty high risk of breaking a windshield constantly. And then once you get up to the high 50s, you're at a high risk of not breaking a windshield. Yeah. You're really, really lucky if you don't bust a windshield every time you spend the day running. And out in the heat is worse. When it's really, really hot, the windshield is far more breakable. And then when it's really, really cold, the windshield's far more breakable. Chat. Yeah, Steve Meade did that on the Caddy. Yeah. Man does some absolutely beautiful work. I mean, dude does his detail. He's just so insane with his details. And his shit looks freaking amazing. I mean, just off the chain. Did you guys see the one where he did he was redoing the Caddy? This is part of the same build series. And he built the Lexan, the Lexan excess power logo and shit in the back there. All the detail he put into that. It's like, I watched him do it and it's like, oh, that's cool. And then it got cooler and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. But then he says, nope, this ain't going to work. So he does a bunch of more shit. I'm like, whoa, now it's really crazy. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do more shit. And then like, your just mind is just bending as he's doing this beautiful layout for a freaking battery cover. And it's just lit up and everything. I mean, his detail is so crazy. And I love watching it. Love watching him work. Move the sensor closer to the amp. Big old furry foot. Yeah, right. A skeletal foot would be better though. Or like a Terminator foot. You know what I'm saying? Like this.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are done.
Yeah, baby. Y'all gotta check that shit out on my channel. It's a badass bass song. It's got a good long bass note that runs all the way through the freaking chorus, and then it backs off and leaves yourself to breathe a little bit. It's really good. That's one of my own personal tracks. Let's see here. Big old furry foot. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot though. That's a lot to learn, man. But yeah, if you're looking for that, he's going to teach you all about it. I was consistent with 215s and a 6K on a stock alt when pulling about 4,500, doing 155 for a daily. Okay, let me reread this. 215s and a 6K on a stock alt pulling. What kind of vehicle was that? That's my first question. That's a hell of a setup. That's impressive to do that. But I got a feeling this is a pretty small cabin. Jason's boogieing. He always says that, but then he comes back. Later, Jason. I'm way behind, I think. Hold on, where am I at? Oh, here we are. Franco Quaid said, check out the Husky. He did one alt to two different voltages, and he didn't like it. Yeah. I'm running two alts on two different charging systems. Both of them are on the same voltage, so I just backwards ass completely to your setup. Did I miss anything good? I just finished the big three on my daily. Sorry, mate. No, man, we've just been talking shit. It's been a whole lot of shit talk. Nothing important. I don't know, man. It all depends on what you consider good. It's like it is what it is. I had pork chops tonight, y'all, so that makes me happy. Anytime Sundays, I'm always happy because I get pork chops on Sundays. Mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, pork chops, grilled onions. Oh yeah, baby. My wife hooks me up. Rufus, so I cannot find any info on the recommendations for the cubic feet on the Brutal Sounds Big Brute 15s. I've never even heard of them. That's something I don't hear very often. I don't say them words very often, but I'm not familiar with them at all. Sounds cool. It's a good name. It's a great name, but I'm not. Probably a lot. See, Chad Abernathy said, yeah, but Husky was tapping the lithium bank in two different places to get that multi-voltage. Okay. Yeah, it would cause problems for your bank big time because you would be pulling part of your cells. You would be pulling the bank out of balance. That's a terrible idea. I mean, it's okay if you're running a big, huge battery bank and you're running some little small things on a bench or something because your balancers can keep up with it. But that's obviously not happening in car audio. That's a terrible idea that's terrible. You're pulling your batteries out of balance. That's going to cause chaos with your bank. Absolutely the worst thing you could do to a bank. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really messed up situation. The best solution, if you just run the highest resting voltage that you can and still stay in the stock charging range. That's realistically the easiest solution. So running like 14.8 charging and then run a flavor of lithium that rests as high as possible, but not above 14.8. That's going to give you the best of both worlds with the least amount of bullshit. And there's options out there. The shrunk thunder lithium stuff rests at like 13.2, 13.3 when it's cold. And I say cold, I mean been resting for a long period. It'll drop down to about 13.2 to 13.3. Mine rested around 13.2. And they'll actually give you energy a little above that. So around, they'll start coming into play at around 14 volts, which is pretty damn good. It's a good middle ground because the car can handle a 14.8 charge and the battery can take a 14.8 charge, and the battery's going to give you energy at around 14 volts. And when you pull on it real hard, you'll get it down to around 13.2, and then it'll just sit there and won't go any lower. It's kind of the best of both worlds. That would be my suggestion. Let's see here. Yeah, I seen me do that awesome build. Yeah, that's a sick build, dude. Diet Coke with pork chops? You damn right. Diet Coke with the pork chops. Today, honestly, usually it's sweet tea with the pork chops. Play it and live it. Watching Steve Mead build at first, saying I could do that. Right? Yeah, I can do that. No, I can do that. I can do that. And you keep watching, you go, man, I ain't got the patience to do that. It gets crazy, dude. And the thing is, when you see that stuff, a lot of times when you see a YouTuber build shit on YouTube, it'll look good from a few feet away. The camera makes everything look better. But Steve shit, you can get up there with a magnifying glass and look for faults, and you won't find none. And if you did, if you looked at his 60 hours of work and you found something in there somewhere, he would throw it away and rebuild it. He's that kind of crazy. I love the guy. He's hilarious in person. But yeah, he's that freaking mental, dude. He would throw the thing away and do it again. He can't tolerate blemishes of any kind. A crooked sticker, dude, he goes ballistic over crooked stickers. Mini Cooper, that explains that. Yeah, that makes all the sense. Basically a Honda CRX. 2018 was my year. My year accomplished a national record. Cool. Went to finals and got a second in novice. That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Competing in the finals is tough. I haven't competed, but I know plenty of people that have. And you're up against a whole lot of very aggressive people that know their shit. So if you finish in the top 3 in any class and finals, you have brought your A game. It's a big deal. They're monsters. You should check them out. I like monsters. Ha! Thank you. Rick said, by the way, I like your content. I love your content. Thank you. My content represents me, dude. I mean, all I do basically is turn the camera on and be myself. This is me. If you come by and see me, you'll be watching however long you're here is how long of a video you'll see. Because this is the way I am in person. I'm the same. Always telling you about stuff. I'm always trying to teach people. That's what I do. And for a lot of people, it drives them batshit crazy. And I apologize ahead of time. I'm like, dude, while you're doing this thing and I'm teaching you, I'm going to drive you crazy. I'm going to nitpick everything that you're doing. And I'm going to explain everything to you that you already know. And I don't mean no harm by that. That's just the way my brain works. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. Don't take offense to it. Like, okay, I'm good, man. All right. I warned you. I'm annoying as hell. Ask my wife. I explained to her about the foot on the ceiling. That look. Oh, I got her back, though. I got her back. I was going to tell you guys about this. I got her back. So I went outside and I'm out there doing RGB shit in my Tahoe, right? I come in to get something and I was like, I'm gonna fuck with her, right? So I come, she's sitting in the living room on the computer, you know, playing the game. And I come around the corner and I said, I got my serious face on. I come around the corner and I was like, hey babe. She said, what? She looks at me all serious, deadpan. And I sit there and I'm like, y'all aren't going to get the full effect though. It's not going to work, but I want to try. Um, so I was like, I was like, hey babe. She's like, what? Full attention, not distracted. I was like, I got a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. I got a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. There's a dozen on my cousin. I can hear the fuckers buzzing. There's a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. I'm laughing because the look never changed. She had that same deadpan stare, not blinking, no expressions, just deadpan. As I turned around and walked out of the room. Fucking dude. It was all I could do to not bust out laughing right in front of her because her expression was so crisp. It never flinched a single bit. And I went back in. She got me back. She actually, you know, if I had broke her, then I would have won. I didn't break her. Back in, she told me I was an idiot. I have a wonderful wife, guys. You just don't know. Sweet tea with pork chops. Okay, yeah, sweet tea with barbecue is a must. Oh, that does sound good. I got this stuff that I've been chowing down on from Firehouse Subs. It's like a hot sauce, but it's more like a barbecue sauce. It was good. It was good. I've been using that for my barbecue. Rick Nunez. Okay. What's up, man? So I was watching your videos and seeing you live, and no way I wasn't joining. Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad you spoke up. I love my people, man. We have a lot of fun. At least I have a lot of fun. You guys, you can come and go. I'm stuck here. You know, I got to deal with this shit. Rufus said, wait, say that again. Sounds like I need some deep for my Pete. Oh my God, you guys are funny. Skeeters need some squeater spray. Skeeter spray. Yeah, the squeater on my feeder. Erickson, oh fucking God, I ain't heard that since I was a kid. My dad used to sing that to my mom and piss her off. Yeah, no shit, dude. That was all I needed. Yeah. Yeah. I have a wonderful wife, dude. We're both idiots, and that works well together. You know, I'm the messy guy with the ideas, and she's the neat freak that's just structured. And but we both can be quite stupid together. So that's what marriage is made for. You know, if you can be stupid with your wife and have fun, that's going to get you past all the hurdles. But I've got one more pork chop to eat. So, has anybody got any questions for me? You guys want to go out with the duck or you want to go out with Terminator? Input. I need input. There's a skeeter on my Peter, whack it off. All right. We're ducking it. There's somebody, yep, Franco Quaid already signed off. You guys have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah. Out here banging up and down the street, slamming it to the ground. Big subwoofers are getting loud. You can feel the booming sound. Getting ready to go. Got it shined up for the show. Power's charging, amps are amping, gonna let the woofers blow. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. We got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Fires are glowing and the amps smoking. Subs are cherry red.
Will play after the duck.
Gonna keep jamming, gotta keep the bass slamming. Gonna go hard till they're dead. Full power, gotta let it go. 20 hertz in the floating hair. Sparks are flying, boys, doors are frying, and the smoke is in the air. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one goes, and another one goes, and another one bites the dust. Hey, we got more at home. Another one bites the dust. Got it. Got it. Spoon.
I love it.
Yeah.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are done.
Stupid, you know. They cannot make things like that yet.
Not yet. Not for about 40 years.
Bargained with, it can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are done. Microprocessor control, fully armored, very tough. Listen.
Y'all like that? I had a request to make that. One of my buddies requested a Terminator theme bass song. So I'm working on Godzilla. I've got Godzilla pretty much done. I got one called Kong that I just released. Y'all really got to listen to Kong. Look on my YouTube list and find Kong. Give that a listen. It's really cool. I'm working on Jason right now. It's called Stalker. It's going to come out pretty soon. And I've got one for Michael Myers that's in the works. So there's lots of really cool shit coming out. Just keep an eye